feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank. When it's sink or swim, only option is to win. In the murky water, not a thought of giving in.
Hey everybody, welcome to the post-show wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank. I am your co-host Ted Jenkins, sitting here with my co-host Chris Hanks today. You can find out more about him at shrimptankcoach.com. He is a master entrepreneur, founded and ran many entrepreneurial things here in the state of Georgia. And of course, we had Kenny Lumpkin on today, who's the Chief Lending Officer of Newton Federal Bank. We talked all about banking today. You really ought to just check out the whole podcast at shrimptankpodcast.com, where you can learn more about deposits and lending and SBA loans and so much that could really impact your business. And if you want to get that MBA in entrepreneurship, stop listening to the radio. Go to the podcast, download the 150 entrepreneurs that we've interviewed. You will learn a lot more how to get that MBA of not only book smarts, but also street smarts at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that came up on the show is that frustration of business owners by being told no, and the idea of investing in a personal relationship when some of those personal relationships were absorbed by a bigger bank, and now they become, instead of that relationship, it's more like they're a loan number.
Yes.
And so how would you respond to some of those concerns or frustrations from business owners who are watching?
Well, I think it's a legitimate, Chris, a legitimate concern. A lot of consolidation has taken place in the banking industry, and with that consolidation, lenders have left banks, customers have been transferred to different people, and so it touches on what's really important in banking, and that's trust. And we've got to get that back in a lot of ways with borrowers. We find that taking place now, where the deposits that are being held with banks is starting to increase and grow again, which is an indication that consumer confidence in banking is starting to move in the right direction. So with that, I would say certainly endeavor to find a good community banker, someone that you can build a relationship with, and they'll be able to take care of your needs and hopefully gain that level of trust back.
You know, Kenny, we do a lot of shows here on the Shrimp Tank, and one of the hot or not questions we didn't ask today that we often ask on the show is, do I need a business plan? And when I'm going to a bank, how much does the bank value the business plan? And does it have to be one of these Atlas Shrugged business plans, or can it be a one-pager? How does the bank look at that, and how do you look at that as a lender if you've got to loan somebody money?
Well, what I would say, Ted, is that if you endeavor to put the time into the project, it tends to be a greater indication of your commitment to the project, which would also indicate to the banker more than likely that you're prepared to enter into the deal. You've done your homework and you're ready. You've researched it. And so the better prepared you can be coming into the transaction is always a hands up compared to other deals that we look at that may be limited on documentation, paperwork, or planning. And so I don't think you need that atlas, so to speak.
Right. You don't need a 50-page business plan.
Absolutely. But anyone can take the time and scale out a business plan on a couple of sheets of paper to kind of talk about how they're going to market, promote, sell, and manage the business, and projections to indicate whether or not the project will be successful.
So for somebody who's watching this, and you drive by certain communities, you see all of these different banks. How does one differentiate a bank? Like, what would somebody do to say, hey, you know what, like, are banks commoditized to a certain extent, or is there some differentiator that somebody can look towards?
Oh, Chris, that's a great question. There is a bank on every corner. In our community, we're headquartered. There are over 10 financial institutions. So which one is the best bank? Which one is able to meet your needs? We all have money. All money is green. And so many times the distinguishing factor between which bank is the best bank for you really comes down to the level of service. You can find out a good bit about a bank and the level of service they can provide, not just you, the customer, but the community, by going online. The website is a great place to do research on your bank. How much are they contributing to the community? How involved are they in the community? What's their mission statement, purpose statement? You'll find that the better banks are strongly committed to the communities that they serve, and they're financially giving back to those communities. And for me, I tend to gravitate towards those banks that have their dollars invested in the community. If customers are going to put money in our bank, then we believe that we need to invest in the communities that we serve.
Kenny, do any banks actually have any gold on hand anymore? Do you actually store gold like the good old days? There was gold in the back vault somewhere, or no?
Other than the little bit of gold that some of the employees may have on their ears and necklaces, but really no.
Chris said he'd give you his gold bars. He put them in there.
No gold that I'm aware of.
No gold. What's the funniest name you ever heard of for a bank? Did you ever hear of a funny name of a bank? Banks don't seem like they have funny names.
There's one called Umpqua Bank.
Umpqua Bank?
Very successful bank, but a very unusual name. We offer product. We didn't talk about it, but it's a name catcher. It draws your attention. It's called the Kasasa product.
The Kasasa product.
Yeah. It's not to be confused with the Kansas product, but it's a very interesting deposit account that pays you money to do business with us by doing a few things that you would probably ordinarily do. So names are very intriguing.
Well, we wanted to thank you, Kenny, and thank your bank for having you on today. So for the folks that are watching the post-show wrap-up today and they're thinking to themselves, I don't know where to start. I'm thinking about getting a loan. I want to get a bank account set up. I want to get it all tied in with my business. How can they get in touch with you and the bank and learn more about getting a banking business relationship set up?
Simply go to the website, www.newtonfederal.com. We have all of our products and services, including our team members. We have photo shots, a profile, so you can look through and find someone that matches your needs and reach out to them, and we'll be glad to help you with your banking needs.
Well, thanks so much for coming on the program today. And folks, normally I would end with some sort of thing that I just come up with and share with you today. But this was so good, Kenny, at the end of here and hearing this word Kasasa. I'm wondering on 3, because Chris Hanks is this kind of guy. If on 3 we can all say a big Kasasa, and we can end with that today with 1. Can we do it? 1, 2, 3. Kasasa! And that is your post-show wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank.